But now, my next guest is a fashion psychologist who believes that the clothes we choose to wear have a big impact on our behaviour. Shakaila Forbes-Bell has released a book exploring how outfits can change our moods and even help manage anxiety and grief. It turns out I've come dressed as your book today.
Yes,
Maybe this was
that.
What was I thinking when I chose this dress, do you think, today?
You wanted to be consistent and help me promote the book.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
And you're wearing purple. What does this mean in terms of fashion psychology today?
I think for me, when you think about clothes and colour psychology, you should think about the emotional aspect for yourself. So for me, I have connotations of purple with royalty, with opulence, and it's what can help you embody power. So obviously, when I'm having such a great interview today, I wanted to exude that.
I think that's fantastic. Your book is really interesting. I did your little survey in it this morning about whether it's called Big Dress Energy. You can explain what that means in a minute. I have medium dress energy. I'm very average, I'm afraid, is what you're telling me. But what's brilliant about it is that you say that even for those people who say, I don't really care about fashion. It doesn't matter whether you care about it or not. You dress yourself.
Yes.
That always, in your view, as a fashion psychologist, it always says something about you.
Completely. You know, we make our first impressions within 0.10 seconds, you know, without us even uttering a single word. Our clothes speak for us. And with fashion psychology, I don't just explore the external interpretations of clothes. I look at how clothes not just shape the way you feel, but how you think and how you act, how they help you lean into aspects of your identity.
Right. Well, let's take a look, can we? Of course, this week we're suffering a great deal of turmoil at the top of government. And Liz Truss, of course, she wears a lot of blue, I think, doesn't she? But we've got some of what she's been wearing. But also, Ralph, our director, can we show what Liz Truss was wearing yesterday? 'Cause Prime Minister's questions yesterday was a very pressurised moment for our Prime Minister. Do you want to just tell us what you think, from your point of view, what she was trying to say to herself and to others?
So when we talk about colour psychology, we think about colours in wavelengths. So you have short wavelength colours like greens and purples and blues, which has been shown to suppress the nervous system and actually make you feel calmer and more relaxed. It's such a high-pressured situation right now that Liz Truss is in, so it makes sense that she would want to go for these more muted tones.
God, I find that fascinating. We can see her in action at PMQs yesterday. So you think that what colour? So you've got short wavelength colours.
Yes.
And can we have a look at some of the other famous women around the world? And you can tell us a bit about, because these aren't the sort of short wavelength colours, I think. Look, we've got Michelle Obama, we see Kate Middleton, we've got Rihanna and Amal Clooney. Just talk us through this.
So we're thinking about the long wavelength colours with Michelle and with Rihanna. So the reds, the oranges, the yellows, those actually arouse parts of our nervous system and make us feel more active and, you know, make us more ready to take charge. So it makes sense that these women in these kind of areas would want to really showcase their dominance in this field. And then you have Kate Middleton, who's a bit more demure, you know, especially in line with her role in the royal family. She's going to wear those blues, the calming, the kind of laid-back kind of colours again. But then Amal, you have the dominance-inducing black. There's so many studies which have talked about, specifically in sports as well, when players wear black, it helps them to be more aggressive and be more vivacious. So especially for a lawyer, someone who has a very takes-charge attitude, black would be a great colour for her.
And it's really interesting. You talk a lot about, a little bit actually, about the psychological tactics that are used by the retailers, whether you're on the high street or even online. And what can we do to shop better and to sort of not fall into some of the tactics that they're using? Just tell us a bit about what those tactics are.
So in the book, I talk about the 4-3-2-1 rule, which is essentially a great rule to not really be persuaded by the tactics like scarcity, like FOMO, like reciprocity, and all of these things.
What does that mean?
So reciprocity is essentially when they say, oh, here's 10% off for your birthday. Of course, you want to pay back in kind, this kind of generosity that you've been given, so you feel encouraged in order to buy. You have that scarcity when it's like last chance to buy, get it while before it's gone, and that really feeds into your loss aversion. So as humans, we think that losses loom larger than gains, so we really want to just get in there and buy. But if you use the 4-3-2-1 rule, think of yourself in the outfit in 4 years, think of yourself wearing it in 3 different occasions, take 2 deep breaths, calm down the nervous system, fight against that dopamine and adrenaline that's battling you, and have 1 good night's sleep.
I think that's amazing. I've never heard that, ever. think of yourself in 4 years. Oh my God, I would literally hardly buy anything that I've actually bought. Because in 4 years' time, you go, oh, I won't want to wear that again.
Of course.
That's incredible. It's a brilliant way, actually, because we think of fashion and everything as being this sort of superficial, anybody who's interested in fashion, you think, oh, is that all you care about? There's bigger things in the world. You get a lot of naysayers. You must have felt that going into... You're the first black woman to graduate with a master's in fashion psychology.
Yes, I definitely got a lot of trolls, and what I always say to them is there's valid research, there's scientific data which talks about how clothes don't just impact the way you feel, they can change the way you think, the way you act, the way you connect to people.
And science-based.
Yes.
I mean, it's extraordinary. And just before you go, I want to talk a bit about how you say grief.
Yeah.
And losing someone, and we just had Ian talking about losing a friend there in the Lightning Seeds, how your clothes can help you connect with that person again.
Yes, so almost 5 years ago, I lost my big sister, Janelle. She was just 32 at the time. Her children, my niece and nephew, were just 2 and 5. So I found that I was in shock for a long time. I didn't deal with it. But over time, I found wearing her clothes, something that we used to do when we were together, it was like a physical manifestation of the abstract pain of my grief. It really helped me embrace the nostalgia aspect of dressing, which always allows you to use your clothes as a memory box to harken back to the good times that we shared. And in speaking to people, I realised that so many of us do this. We don't realise the true value of clothes and their meaning until someone passes.
It's a really brilliant book. I really enjoyed it. I sort of thought I was learning stuff on every page. It's absolutely fantastic to speak to you this morning.
Thank you so
Shakaila's
much.
book, Big Dress Energy, is out now. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.